I also got Lemmy to do the cameo in the movie.
Yeah.
Where he says, I was editor of the school newspaper.
Classic.
Yeah.
And you were talking earlier about Clive Davis and kind of signing with the devil. There's another incident in the book where you did this thing on QVC for Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
That really comes across as one of those moments.
Yeah.
Where you really said something about who you are as a person.
Well, that in the Ballad of John and Richie chapter, it's very intuitive of you to identify that, because that was the second really facing the devil kind of moment for me. And not that I was facing John Bon Jovi the devil. I was facing a situation that was not in keeping with who I was, and therefore I was destined to fail in that situation, as I failed as an A&R person. I will always love the band I signed, the Bogman, and I write about them. They've made 3 documentaries.
What was so conflicting about that for you?
Okay, so you have to understand this part of my life right now is I have like a part-time, I'm working at Sanctuary Music, but I'm not really doing much. I'm trying to get a couple book deals. I'm getting very depressed at home. I've been in a long funk after 9/11. I did a lot of blog writing. A lot of that stuff is in Sweet Demotion. But I'm further away from whatever my power was when I was riding that wave all those years, from Hustler through RIP, through MTV, through Pirate Radio, into Airheads. That was a wave. So my wave crashed, my board broke, and I had trouble getting back on. This Bon Jovi thing came about like this. I ran into Richie and Dave Bryan in the lobby of Ritz-Carlton in Chicago in November of 2000, because I was there interviewing Sammy Hagar in his hotel room for KNAC.com. I did these video clips called Conversations with Lonn, and it was me with artists. And I was there doing Sammy, and I saw Sammy the night before. And so we did the interview. I'm in the lobby, and I don't know, I'm just singing around, and I look down the hall, and there's Richie and Dave, who are the 2 people I'm closest with in that band, and always was since the beginning. And they go, "What the fuck is this?" And we hug and stuff, and I go, "I'm here with Sammy." He goes, "When are you going home?" I go, "I'm going home tomorrow." He goes, "No, you're not." I go, "Yeah. He goes, "No, we're playing here tomorrow." "Where?" "United Center, wherever, Palace, Auburn Hills, whatever." I go, "Well, okay. I have to change my ticket." He goes, "And we're going out tonight to see Kev Moe at the House of Blues. You're coming with us." I go, "Okay." And then Snake from Skid Row meets us. So I'm there, and it's all love. So then the next night, John knows that I'm in town. So I ride to the gig with John just with him, and he's asking me about what I've been doing since the RIP days of my life and stuff. And I said, "Well, it's been a hard run. I'm having trouble and financially and everything else." And he goes, "Well, you're gonna have a good time tonight, and I'm really glad to see you." And I remember him telling me that he loved Al Gore on that ride. John had a nickname for me, Lonly. Lonnly. Not lonely, but Lonly. He'd call me Lonly because I think he understood sort of that part of me. Anyway, the show was, I was right there in the huddle with them before they went on stage, like it was back in the early 90s, where they hug and then they go on. I was right there, just like old days. 10 years later, 11 years later. So I go back to LA, and I just wrote up a piece, a review of the show about, Bon Jovi in the Windy City, and John saw it, and I did nail it. Really, I nailed it. And they played the Forum like a couple weeks later. They were in LA and they played the Forum, and he came up to me and he goes, what you wrote was poetry, man. You really got it. He goes, we need a bio for the live album, and I'm gonna have a publicist from Island call you because I want you to write it. I go, okay, thanks. He goes, and they'll pay you. I go, well, okay. So I got paid, you know, a little bit to write a bio for One Wild Night, which is their first live record. And what I did was I wrote something that was kind of, it was like even better than what I wrote as the review. So the next time I see John is like backstage at another gig. I go out to see them, and he goes on to show me the layout of the new album, and he opens up the inside of the record, and I realize that there's my bio, and it's the liner notes of the album. And I went, whoa, wow, man, thanks. So he said, anything I can do for you, you know, you let me know. And then a few weeks later, I said I had a concept for a TV show I wanted to do called Rock a Mile with Lonn Friend, and I need a band. And he goes, why don't you come to Europe, and you can have total access and shoot us, whatever you want to do. And I did, and I paid myself to get to Europe, and I went on 5 dates. I went into 5 shows, and I shot it with my digital cam, and I cut it into a 24-minute like pilot, and nobody really saw it. I mean, I put it out there, and VH1 looked at it real carefully, but right when they were about to make a decision, the president, John Sykes, gets blown out, and I remember calling John and asking them, could you make a call for me, because I think I can get this gig, but he didn't make the call. Anyway, fast forward a little bit about, let's see, it's early 2003, and I'm still in good stead with them because of what how I delivered on the liner notes. So I meet John for lunch. I go down to where he's shooting episodes of Ally McBeal in Manhattan Beach. He was a guest star on a show with Harrison Ford's wife, Callista Flockhart, and she's a lawyer, and he played like this romantic interest, John did. So I go down to the set, and I pick him up, and we're driving back on the 405 freeway, and we're gonna have lunch on Sunset Boulevard. And he starts to tell me about this QVC thing that they're putting together. They want to sell the DVD, and that they're gonna make a special DVD. And I said, QVC? That's a shopping now. He goes, well, I'd like you to be involved. I'd like you to kind of like be the color man on the broadcast and keep it real. And I said, well, if you pay me, I'll get him, he goes, oh no, we'll make sure you get paid. I'll make sure you get paid well. And then that led to me going to San Jose, and then, it's in the book. He paid me $1,000, and I thought there was a zero missing.
You can't help you
and I'm on the plane, and I'm kind of drunk. I'm in the back with Richie and Heather, and I'm going, give me something for the pay. And I remember just yelling, and John is not listening to me because he's got Doug Flutie, from the football player, who's convincing him that he needs to buy an arena football team on the plane.